Hey everybody, this is Robert from Black Belt Gaming. Warhammer Quest, the adventure card game. I've run through the tutorial. I think it's time that I try the first quest. Let's see how it goes. I believe this first adventure is called A Foul Stench. It gave me some instructions for this setup. We've got giant bats, giant spiders, goblin warriors, orc boys, 4 open standard enemies, and 2 open elite enemies also get shuffled in there. There is a bad guy called Odious Grump. He's a Nemesis card, and we put him in the Nemesis lair, and he spawns through peril effects. So that's something new that I didn't experience in the tutorial. I needed to choose 3 open locations, shuffle them together, and then place the Grump's Sump location card on the bottom of that deck. I have 12 open gear cards and 12 open dungeon cards, and I believe those go in 2 separate stacks. So what exactly am I doing? Let's take a look at this. It says the city of Scumph, maybe that's how you pronounce it, had never seen anything like it. The youngest fell to sickness a moon ago, and their elders soon followed them into the grave. At first it was believed to be a plague brought on by debauchery of a traveling carnival, but the execution and burning of the entire troop did not quell the problem. Ah, the good old days. A perplexed and dying city was on the verge of collapse until an unsuspecting rat catcher named Jod began spreading tales of a peculiar odor, more peculiar than usual, emanating from the sewers. Jod informs you that he has stumbled across a secret entrance dug into the tunnels on the outskirts of town. Something has recently been accessing the city's water supply, no doubt for devious purposes. You must investigate. Alright, so that's our setup there. That's our story. I guess we'll get to reward and penalty depending upon how we do. So I'll save that for later. I haven't even read it. So let's continue forward. Alright, we've flipped the card over, and an uneasy alliance quest, a foul stench. It says something up here. After Odious Grump is defeated, he flees, and the party tracks him. Place his enemy card in the Nemesis lair, then add 4 progress to the current location. So after he's defeated, I guess we'll have to worry about that later. So this is new, this sort of peril track here where this is going to move down, and then I think something happens when we reach green and blue and red respectively. So characters, I've decided to use the characters I started to become familiar with from the tutorial, and I could certainly use your help along the way, so please keep an eye on what I'm doing and let me know if I miss anything, and I'll always try to fix that from one video to the other. I rarely sit down and get through an adventure in one sitting, mainly because of lack of time. So as I'm going along here, if you spot something, there might be a pretty good chance I can fix it before I get too far along. So we've got the first player marker. We'll start with the warrior priest. From what I understand, each of these heroes should activate twice since I'm playing this solo. So we'll do hero phase, enemy phase, location, and peril. I do believe, though, if I'm starting off correctly, I think I need to flip over a location card, and it happens to be the one I was playing in the tutorial, a throng of webs. And so I believe that's okay to use in this adventure. This is something I didn't really have to worry about. We have, looks like 1 spawn and 3 in the shadows So I need to go to my enemy deck, excuse me, and I need to spawn to the active player, which is our War Priest, one enemy, and we've got a gigantic spider in the throng of webs. Nice thematic match there. And then evidently I need to put 3 in the shadows. So there's 3 enemies up here that we cannot currently see. Alright, so I guess we get going now. And we've got a big spider jumping at us right as we've entered this cave with the web. So let's get started. Now, my channel started years ago with the Wrath of a Chardalon game for the Dungeons and Dragons board game. And one thing I remember was exploring. If I could keep myself exploring and getting through the stack of dungeon tiles, I'd have a much better chance of winning a game than trying to fight and clear the board every time. So let me try that. I don't know if that's exactly a good strategy in this game or not, but let's try it. Let's start out with this Explore Action Path of Redemption. We're going to exhaust this card, but we'll do the following actions first. We're going to take 2 dice, and hopefully if we're successful here we can add these to our location. We need 1 black one for the gigantic spider. So let's roll this and see what happens. Nothing from the spider, and it looks like we have 3 successes that we can add to the location. Alright, well there's our little token with the 3 on it. That's done. It says next we need to draw and resolve 1 dungeon card. So we've got our dungeon card. Let's see what it is. It looks like it's called Explosive Charges. This is an item. You may discard this card after a hero's activation to choose an engagement zone. Each enemy in that zone suffers 1 wound. Alright, well, we will keep hold of that, Explosive Charges. And then what comes next? We choose a hero, and that hero claims 1 success token. Maybe let's maybe we'll let the Waywatcher take a success token, and why don't we put that on her explore, maybe her explore space there, or her card there. So that's going to finish up the Path of Redemption. We'll go ahead and exhaust that action. So I think that's our War Priest. I think he's all done. We go to the Waywatcher next. Alright, I think we're going to keep exploring. So once again, I'm not sure if this is wise. I'm going to have to learn from my failures and from your advice. Orion's Hunt. Let's go ahead and explore with her. We're going to have an extra success token. She's not going to have to roll any enemy dice. She has no enemy in front of her right now. So 2 dice. It looks like we've got the reroll. So I think maybe taking a little token is a good way to handle that. We'll put that one over here. Let's roll again. And we've got a shield. We didn't need that. But that led us to 3 successes. So that's another 3 points on our travel location. That's just going to leave us with 1 more remaining. So those tokens are gone. And our explore action will start to exhaust. But let's make sure we process everything else. Draw and resolve 1 dungeon card. We've got that here, and it says Font of Flame. Every few seconds a bright flame belches from the floor in the center of this room. The heat is unbearable. You may suffer 1 wound. If you do, An enemy engaged with you also suffers 1 wound. Well, we have no one engaged with her. So what do we do with this event? Is it a one-time thing? And then it's gone? Maybe so. So you may suffer. So we choose not to. So we don't take any damage, and I guess none of the creatures take any damage. So I'm assuming this is resolved. So really nothing happened there. Let me know if I got that wrong. You may exhaust 1 non-nemesis enemy in the shadows. Alright, so we've got 3 of these guys up into the shadows, so we can exhaust just number 1. We don't know who it is. Now, question, does exhausting an enemy in the shadows reveal it? Let's check the book. Well, this is still from the Learn to Play booklet, and it says a face-down enemy is flipped up in these situations. If it suffers wounds, after it is engaged, and before it is activated. So I don't think exhausting the enemy would flip it over. Let me know if I missed a rule, but I'm going to keep him face down for now. Alright, so we're back over to the War Priest for his second activation, which is what we need to do in this solo playthrough. Maybe we should start damaging this spider now. Of course, yeah, let's do this. We can't do any more exploring. Let's go ahead and battle. We're not wounded yet. It says we may engage 1 enemy. And here, I am not sure if it's better for me to call one of these guys down from the shadows or just stay focused on this gigantic spider. I am not sure. I also am not sure about the limits. I understand that you can have a maximum of 3 people engaged with your character, but I'm not sure about the limitations on the shadows. I'll need to research that a little bit. But let's just concentrate on this spider right now. We're going to attack it with 2 dice, and we've got 1 for the creature. It says before this action you may exhaust another action to target 1 additional enemy. I don't think I'll do that. Let's just go with a straight attack and see what happens. We've got 1 success and 1 of these re-rolls, so let's take our successes over here to the side. He's done. Let's roll this one again. And 2 more successes. That's a total of 4. So as I pull back here, you can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4 successes. Believe those translated to wounds on this guy. So this was armor, I think. So he has no armor. That's going to be 4 damage to him. That should be enough to kill the gigantic spider. So we'll take him out. And I don't know if you do anything when you kill an enemy, do you? I guess not. So, oh, I may have forgotten something here. It was back when I did the Font of Flame. There is this little symbol. Oops, this little symbol down here. I think that's a treasure card, isn't it? Let me check. Yeah, here it is. Gear acquisition. Each time an active hero draws a dungeon card and it contains a treasure icon, he either draws 1 gear or takes it from the discard pile. And then after you draw one of these cards, you can either equip it or put it in the discard pile. And supposedly, I guess in this first game, we're only allowed to equip 1 piece of gear, I think. So let's draw from the gear pile, and whatever this is, should go to the Way Watcher or the discard pile. Heavy armor. +4 to your health value. Well, I don't know of any disadvantage for the Way Watcher. I don't know if typically a light-footed stealthy archer would wear such a kind of a thing, but maybe that's all right. So let's let her equip this, and I guess we can change our mind later. Four additional health on the character. Maybe I don't really know a way to mark that. Don't know. We'll figure that out later, I guess. So maybe if we start taking damage, we'll start loading it on the armor first. Alright, so taking us back, we just defeated the gigantic spider with our attack. And I think that was all there was to that card. We didn't target any other opponents. So we're back over to the Way Watcher activation. We need one more for this location, but our current exploration card is exhausted, so we need to do something else. We still haven't taken any damage. I don't know. Isn't it if you travel, don't the characters in the, or the bad guys in the shadows, aren't they discarded? I thought I read that somewhere. So I wonder, but the bad thing is I can't really push on right now. Let me think about this. Alright, still learning this game, therefore it's a blind playthrough. I think I'm going to have the archer take a shot at somebody in the shadows, because I think when we get to the enemy phase they're going to start charging out of the shadows and attacking us. So let's engage somebody here. Let's just pull down this guy that was next, and when he's engaged he's going to flip over. And we've got a giant bat that we're going to have to fight here. And we're doing our deadly shot. This is our attack. You may engage one enemy. Ranged attack during this action. If you defeat at least one enemy, recover one wound, and then you get to ready all of your actions. So not the best attack, just one little die. But fortunately the giant bat only has one hit point. Let's see if we can get lucky and take this thing out. Here we go. A roll of the dice as we're making our way through the webbing here. The bat does not get an attack, but we did get one success. So let's roll this little sucker again. And 2 successes. So that's going to total 3 on the deadly shot. And that should hit this little guy. And he has no armor. That should kill him. We'll take these off. I assume all of those are spent. And we've got ready all of your actions. So we are going to get our explore action back now. And I think that's going to end it for hero activations. I think we're all done. And now we head into the bad stuff. Alright, looks like to me, from what I remember from the tutorial, it's time to let the enemies activate. So we have none engaged. So what we would do now is engage with this one. And it is another spider. And that one's going to engage with the warrior priest. This one that's exhausted in the shadows, what does it do? Well, I guess wouldn't we go over here now and draw an enemy for the Way Watcher? But there are no enemies that are ready in the shadows, so I think she skips that part. And that enemy just stays exhausted there. So I think we move on with the giant spider. Alright, so I may have done this a little out of order talking about the Way Watcher, but it hasn't affected the gameplay at all. I think the first thing happens, we flip over this guy, he comes down and engages with the War Priests, and he activates. And if we take a look at the Gigantic Spiders card, the first thing it does is it inflicts its damage. So it's going to attack us and do 1 point of damage. After that, it's going to do something called Ensnare. Well, let's take this wound first. And then I guess we have to hunt down the meaning of Ensnare and what that's going to do. Alright, I was being an idiot and going through the books looking for Ensnare, and it's right here on the card. If this enemy is in the shadows, exhaust 1 action. No. This enemy was engaged with us. So if this enemy is in the shadows, exhaust 1 action. So that's not going to work against us. The last thing this thing is going to do is retreat, and I think it does retreat back to the shadows now. And it is going to exhaust. So that gives us 2 exhausted enemies in the shadows now. So the Way Watcher would have no creature up here to activate. So then I think the enemy phase is finished. Alright, I think this takes us to the location phase now. We're still making our way through the webs along the outside as we're looking for this entrance. And we've got 6 tokens on it. We only need 1 more. But here we go. I think we have this effect to resolve. At the end of the location phase, the party leader exhausts 1 action. And from what I understand, that cannot be this one. Isn't that right? Because it has this symbol on it. So it's going to have to be my 1 remaining action, the aid action. So we'll exhaust that. That means our warrior priest only has battle prayers available to him now. So now we're on to something new that I haven't done before, and that is the peril phase. Let me make sure I understand that. Well, I think this is going to be pretty simple for us this first turn. It just simply moves down 1 step. At first I wasn't sure how many. It just moves 1. And that is not colored, so nothing happens. When we get to that next one, the green one, something will happen. So that's going to finish up this first turn. Once again, I apologize for the slow pace, but this is a blind playthrough, and I'm trying very hard to make sure that I'm learning the game correctly, and for those others that are brand new to it, that they can learn along with me. So for those of you that are masters of the game, please let me know where I may have missed something, or let me know if I'm doing a good job. Thanks for watching, everybody. Always a pleasure, and I will catch you guys for our next turn coming up. We're going to have to shift this over to the Way Watcher now.